Hi, this is Olena of popthepimple.com and welcome to today's live pop talk. I'm so happy today. It's been an excellent day, like from top of the morning to now. And it's awesome. Hi, Fox, Vivienne, XOXO. Anyway, Vivienne, hello. Cali, Florida, hello. Hi, guys. So today, as you noticed, the pop talk is a little earlier, half an hour earlier. And the reason that is because I want to go and hang out in Paris. I need to take half a day or whatever, a few hours at least, leave the house, go through some shops, be in big crowds. That's what I feel like doing today. And it feels like a really, really good idea. It feels super aligned to me. So I'm excited about it. So yeah, in order to give myself a little bit of time, the pop talk is earlier. How are you doing? Tell me, how are you doing? How are you doing? Because so far today I had a routine review. And I have lots to write, lots of routine reviews to write. But lately I'm just feeling so much gratitude. So much gratitude. And gratitude is the easiest way to stay in alignment. It's the closest you get to source energy when you feel grateful, right? And things like you can find gratitude in the smallest things. Like I wrote in today's Instagram post, right? I wrote about a client I worked with who was a surgical assistant, and she worked with a lot of patients who had cancer and that couldn't even go to the bathroom on their own, right? And she said, she called it the luxury of pooping. And she was this glowy, radiant person who looked so much younger than her age. Like, I think she was in her mid-30s or something, but she looked way younger. She was just like a baby, in terms of appearance. And so I asked her, like, what's the secret? And she's like, gratitude. and she explained to me why she feels all this gratitude, right? She gets a reminder every day to not take the little things for granted. And it's such a fucking excellent reminder, right? Because literally we have so much to be grateful for. I mean, the fact that you guys are on here on your phones is an example that, like, you probably have tons in your life to be grateful for, right? Me personally, I love Wi-Fi. That's what I'm super grateful for. Vivienne's is doing work. Ooh, bored doing work. She says, I see. Interesting. I have comments on that. Bored doing work. Because me personally, I feel like when you are doing soul's work, things that you are meant to be doing, it will feel good. But also, even if you're doing things that seem boring, there's a way to do them that actually feels good and that doesn't feel boring. Because when you're in alignment, you can do boring, mundane things, but you can do them with excellence, and you can do them with a pep in your step and a sparkle in your eye, you know what I mean? And it makes a really big difference as to your end result then, So I don't believe in doing just to do, especially doing out of alignment. Doing anything out of alignment just creates terrible results. This is what I found. And so even, I know that this is not to criticize you or anything. It's just that even a statement as small and seemingly innocent as bored at work. Me, I don't believe in boredom. I really, truly fucking don't. I don't understand it. I really don't. I'm like, what the fuck is bored? How can anyone be bored? Like, how? But of course, back in the... no, I don't think I grew up... No, I was never a bored person because I had a lot of this going on. Meaning, I'm not saying I had big brains. I'm saying, because I'm pointing to my head, I'm saying that I had a very rich inner world. As a kid, I spent a lot of time imagining stuff. Even playing with dolls, I would create relationships between them, storylines, you know what I mean? It wasn't just like, just a doll over here and a doll over here. No, there was like a backstory between them, and there, I would probably play out different stories each time, but kind of keep it consistent with what their relationship is and all this stuff, And then books and friends and admiring even fucking simple things like nature. Remember, I'm very, very lucky because even this experience allows me and brings back the memory of my cousin and I, because we lived on this street. This is in Western Ukraine, back when I lived with my grandparents while my mom was in Canada. And we lived on this street that was unpaved. And there were many streets in my town that were not paved, right? And because it was unpaved, there would be these big, like, how do you call them? They weren't holes. They were like big recesses in the it wasn't pavement, it was like gravel, right? So when it would rain, the street looked like it was covered by ponds because the recesses would fill up. And so sometimes it was like almost impossible to get around the puddles because they were so big. But my cousin and I, we would take our bikes and we would go like just basically riding our bikes through these big puddles, like deep puddles, like deep, like not like this puddle, deep and muddy, right? And then we'd come home all happy, covered in mud, So again, I just don't understand being bored. It doesn't, I'm sorry, I just can't relate. Like, I couldn't even keep that to myself. I'm like, blah, this is my opinion on boredom. Especially when gratitude is at play, when you have that awareness of there's so much to be grateful for, that when you have a silent moment or a moment of, doing something maybe a little mundane or repetitive, whether it's the dishes, laundry, whatever, even that I find meditative. Even that there's a part of me that actually enjoys it some way, So, meh. Let's see. Where the Sun Met the Moon 24 says, "Hi, Olena. Thank you for the mascara video." Yes, I do have a mascara video on YouTube, and it's a very good one, I have to say, because it's not something people talk about. So my mascara video, you should watch it if you haven't. The link is in my bio. And she says, "Such a discovery. Do you have a favorite body cleanser and shampoo conditioner?" My favorite body cleanser is from a brand called SVR. I forgot the exact name. I think it's like Top Piliers or something. It's a French pharmacy brand. But no, it's not. I don't really have favorite cleansers. I just kind of use things that are soap-free and usually fragrance-free. Really gentle stuff, And in terms of shampoo and conditioner, my favorite one is from the brand Marc Anthony that I use all the time. It's Canadian. And I use their Curls shampoo. Sulfate-free. It's a sulfate-free system. I like their shampoo. And then L'Oreal has a thing called, I think, Evercream. L'Oreal Evercream sulfate-free conditioner. Even though conditioner doesn't technically contain sulfates, it's in their sulfate-free line. So yes. Hi Gladys, good to see you. And what's your sign? Do you find astrology relevant? What's interesting regarding astrology is, firstly, I'm an Aquarius. Right, and my sun sign is Aquarius. Oh fuck, I knew my moon sign, I knew all the things. My north node is in Pisces, and therefore my south node is in Virgo, because I was literally Googling this like 2 nights ago. And do I find astrology relevant? To a degree, I do. Because it's interesting. Every time I have some weird, turbulent, unexplained event in my life, or a weird, turbulent, unexplained energy in my life, I look towards the stars as the reason. I used to be like, oh, I'm hormonal, or oh, it's somebody else, back when I didn't take responsibility for being a magnificent creator, a deliberate creator. But then there was something else. It was like I was creating all this cool shit, but then sometimes I'd have these off days and I didn't understand why. And so I started looking at the stars. And it's not just I started looking at the stars to explain my off days, but I just noticed there would be like Mercury retrograde, or something something big in the stars would be happening as my life would be being like turned upside down. You know? So I'm like, I'm not creating this like consciously, so what else is happening in the world or in the universe, you know? And so I don't know, but like astrology, I think it works when you believe that it works. You know, when you believe in it, then you can really relate to it. And then if you believe that it's bullshit, then you won't relate to it. But once upon a time, my physics teacher, he was so full, like just so, how do I say this? So self-satisfied all the time, proving his physics theories. And he made physics not fun for me, even though now I kind of like the ideas of physics, you know? I like logic. I like truth, you know? So obviously physics kind of falls into that category. But anyway, he once tried to disprove astrology, and he was just showing that basically a person next to you, I think I forgot which theory, which physical formula he was using, because it was, oh my God, I was like grade 11 when this happened, but I remember it, and I remember I was like, oh my God, astrology doesn't even work, because he disproved it with his one theory. And it just said that basically somebody next to you has a greater impact on you than a star would or a planet would, millions of, I don't know, light years. I don't know what the distance would be. Far away, right? And so he disproved it with his one theory, and yet time and time again, I see it being kind of right, you know? So I feel like, but like, for instance, I'm an Aquarius, but I'm like a really well-adjusted, not the typical Aquarius. A typical Aquarius is very flighty, all over the place, can be self-harming and all this shit. And me, I was never that aggressive style of Aquarius. Okay, I'm like the best possible version of an Aquarius you could never have. Anyway. So do I believe in this stuff? Do I relate to it? There's a part of me, I just find it extremely fascinating, and there is one thing in astrology that I do really enjoy, and that's North Node. And North Node basically tells you your destiny. Basically why you're here in this current reincarnation or whatever, right? This current physical form. Why are you here right now? What is the point? And it's interesting because it tells you your past lives and your tendencies from the past that you took from previous lives into this one, the ones that don't serve you any longer, and what it is that you'd like to accomplish here in this current reincarnation. And I was blown away with how accurate it was. It was ridiculous. It's pretty much the only book. It's called Astrology for the Soul, okay? That is so fascinating. I recommend you read it if you're interested in astrology. Didn't know we talk about astrology today, but I never know what we're going to talk about, which is what I love about these pop talks. Yeah, so Astrology for the Soul, I think, is the only book that was able to read me. Yeah, from any book. Like, all the other books, they're like, kind of like, yeah, I can relate to parts of you, but, you know. But Astrology for the Soul, it's by, I think, Jan Spiller or Jan Spiller. I don't know how to pronounce the name, and if it's Spiller, even the last name. Let me just Google it real quick. Astrology for the Soul. I read that book whenever I read it back when I had it, because it's, I think, in Toronto. I read it over and over and over again. Well, my part of it, and maybe the parts of my family members and stuff. Yeah, it's by Jan Spiller, I remember. Yeah, because I read it enough times I can remember how even the name looked on the book. It's a yellow book. Anyway, yeah, I would reread it over and over and over again, especially when I felt a little lost, you know, when I felt like not myself, and the book would kind of guide me back to my path again. It was a book that helped me actually find alignment once in a while when I needed it. It was before I discovered the Law of Attraction books. It was before I discovered Conversations with God and all these other books, A Course in Miracles, right? So it was one of these very important books in my life, actually, early on. So that's a good one. Thank you for the question. That's awesome. Nikita Karki, hello. And Alejandro is here. Good to see you, Alejandro. Yay. Nikita says, and decide to change it. Oh, sorry, I missed it. Okay, here we go. Nikita says, I am from a culture that really believes in astrology, and I have noticed if you believe in it, then it actually happens. I feel like it's super self-fulfilling, or you could just not believe it and decide to change it. But I do believe in it, okay? I just try to focus on the good, positive predictions. My 2 cents. Okay, thank you for sharing, Nikita. Yeah, I don't look at these kinds of things to predict my future. I'm not interested in predicting my future. I'm interested in creating my future, right? So I don't actually like having any outside influences, right, for my future, and that's why I don't read my horoscope. Unless I'm reading it like, say, the month has passed, right? And then I'll look back on the month and see if some of the dates or the predictions correlated, just for funsies, right? And sometimes they do. And like, I find the monthly horoscope to be the most accurate rather than the weekly one or the daily one, right? So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Astrology. So thank you for sharing that. All right, my friends. I had a very cool routine review yesterday. The second one, the last one yesterday. Yes. And we were talking about words affecting our reality, right? Because this is somebody obviously who, a lot of my clients are people who watch my pop talks. I do have to say, not all of them, but a lot of them are. Like, I've met a lot of you guys and it's so cool. And she found her kind of spiritual awareness and all these things before, she found the pop talks and stuff. But the reason why my material resonated with her was I was bringing in kind of spirituality and law of attraction and thoughts into the conversation about acne, right? So she said, you were like the first one that, thoughts correlating with acne, like, and so that was very cool. But so obviously we ended up kind of talking about that sort of thing, because some of my clients, the ones that watch the pop talks, we end up having discussions way beyond just their routines, right? So it sometimes gets very interesting, and an awareness I want to, inspired by that conversation, that I want to bring in here. It's 3 p.m. Okay, my alarm is going off in the other room telling me that it's almost 3 p.m. and it's time to do a pop talk, but we're early today. Anyway, the awareness I want to share today is that our words and our focus are extremely important. And I wanted to kind of share with you my experience from like an early age and something I realized. For instance, this is what I'm talking about. When I was younger, I always had something I was insecure about. There was always literally something that I would obsess over, okay? It could have been literally, at one point it was my ears. I thought they were the biggest thing ever, and so I never wore a ponytail. I was obsessed with the fact that my ears were huge. That's all I could see if I looked in the mirror. And so I would, again, never expose my ears. I had a thing against my toes when I was a kid. I thought they were just the most disgusting things ever, and I would wear socks with sandals, okay? Like, there were just so many phases that I went through. When I was, 12, I thought I was fat, and it was only because I was taller than all my friends. And therefore, if my friend's like fucking a head shorter than me and she sits down next to me, her thigh was like half of my thigh. And so I thought that made me fat. And this is an example of, firstly, childish interpretations. As a child, you don't really have reasoning faculties and logic developed yet, right? That's your prefrontal cortex, and that's still fucking growing, right? So as a child, you have difficulty making logical and rational conclusions about things, and they're more emotional, right? And so they're often wrong, totally baseless, just nonsense, right? But you believe it anyhow because that's how you're interpreting your reality, right? As a younger person, as a child. And there was always something I was obsessed about, and so basically, as long as I was obsessed with the thing, that's how I saw myself. And then literally because, I'd move on to the next thing I'd be obsessed about. It wasn't like I was obsessed about 7 aspects of me that I was like hating. It was always one like specific thing. And as soon as I moved on to the next worry of mine and the next focus of mine, like suddenly the ears didn't feel so big. Suddenly the toes didn't look disgusting. Suddenly I wasn't fat. You know what I mean? And it was just basically me focusing on a certain aspect of myself with a negative, obviously, spin on it that made the thing appear to be the way I saw it. Ooh, that was very well expressed. What I just said, I'm very proud of the way I used English just there. That was so good. That's exactly as I wanted to express it. That was perfect. Yay! So yeah, I was creating my own experience, right? And not knowing that I was creating my own experience of myself, but just by simply choosing to see myself a way I was seeing myself. But again, it wasn't like an intentional decision, obviously, because I was younger and I didn't know I was a creator of my own reality. But I was still creating my own reality, right? So later on in my, I think, mid-20s, I had this realization when I looked at old photos of myself. And I realized that I was making shit up the whole time. But as an adult, we also make shit up. We have to become very aware of this, okay? As children, we may, emotionally misinterpret certain realities and make it mean something that it doesn't, but we do the same thing as adults, right? And often we're so focused on something that we don't like about ourselves, and then time passes, and then we look back and we realize that it never really existed except in our own minds. And I want you to hear me, what I'm saying today, because this is so, so relevant. You don't want to be that person in 20 years who looks back on today and realizes, wow, my acne actually wasn't as severe as I thought it was. My skin actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was. My ass wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was. My hair wasn't as bad as I thought it was. We really need to be looking at ourselves with gratitude right now, not in 20 years when our bodies are wrinkled and okay, in 20 years, that's not going to happen. But you know what I'm saying? In the future, when, we're kind of like, by the future, I mean, it's usually on our fucking deathbed when we make these realizations. Like for a lot of people, it really happens then. When they realize, wow, I had it really good, but I didn't realize how good I had it, And so I want you guys to have this awareness next time you're like looking at yourself through that critical fucking microscope and being like, zoning in on the thing that you don't like. Oh, my pores. Oh, my wrinkle. Oh, I don't know, my nose, my lips, my ears, my hair. Like I know so many people that just literally fixate on one thing or two things or whatever. And ultimately, it's just a form of body dysmorphia. I know. I don't like labels, I don't like labels, but that's what it comes down to. An inability to see yourself as you really are. And the only way to truly see yourself as you are is with love. That's the only way. Because if it doesn't feel good, it's not true. I keep telling you guys. And when you're in alignment, you see yourself clearly. You see yourself with gratitude. You see yourself with love. You can't even imagine criticizing or condemning any aspect of you, right? And so, yeah, that's what I got to say about that. What do you guys think about this awareness? And interesting as well, like the stories we tell ourselves are literally the basis of our future. So the story I'm telling myself today about how my body works, how my hair looks, how I feel about life, how I see things, how, my hopes and dreams, that informs my future. So I'm not surprised when I succeed because I keep succeeding, because my past self was so fucking in alignment and was seeing things so positively and was so grateful that now I have more stuff to be grateful for, right? my present self. And my future self is going to have like a shit ton of things to be grateful for, right? So what I'm saying is these stories that we tell ourselves are really important, like literally how we choose to tell our own stories. Because yesterday I caught my client saying something a couple of times, and I realized it was a part of her story, right? And so I pointed it out, and obviously she was so fucking awesome. Like, she appreciated me pointing it out, you know? I only do this sort of thing with people who can and are ready to hear it, right? Not people who are like not even close, right? I read my audience, right? I read the room, I should say. I read the room. Anyway, so she was saying something along the lines of, yeah, my skin is so sensitive. It just like has these weird reactions to things. And she said this a few times, and I'm like, so maybe it's not that your skin is sensitive and that has these reactions to things. Maybe it's that you think your skin is so sensitive and therefore you have these reactions to things. And she was like, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, maybe your skin's actually extremely resilient. You know? And she was like, yes, that's a new story I have to tell about my skin. And so she was extremely, what's the word? Receptive of what I was saying. Because those are the kinds of clients that I attract, obviously. It's normal. But another thing was she had a story about hormones. She put a lot of blame on her hormones for her skin because that's what her doctors told her was responsible for her skin from an earlier age, right? And later on, she developed hypothyroidism, which is when your thyroid, the hormone creation organ, right? It starts getting slow and starts fucking shit up. And so you're not your usual self and your health can really quite decline. And I didn't make this connection at first as we were talking, but later I'm like, and interesting because you've been talking about this hormone story and there was so much blame around the hormones, you know, hormonal imbalance, blah, 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 blah. And then you developed hypothyroidism. And it's like, it's not strange that we develop the things that we develop in life. It's not strange, and there's always a reason for it. And what I'm telling you is that it comes down to the stories that we tell ourselves, because our body takes everything we say literally. It hears us. So if we say to our body that my hormones are fucked, you know, like, my hormones suck, they're responsible for this and this going wrong in my body, and like, oh, my periods are irregular, and you just keep affirming over and over again what is actually wrong and something that you don't like, well, it's gonna get worse because you are a vibrational being in a vibrational universe. So if you keep affirming something terrible, it will end up that way or worse. And today on my Instagram stories, I posted about the stupidest expression ever, I'm dead. People nowadays, they get so excited about something and they say, I'm dead. It's so funny, I'm dead. Or, oh, so excited, I'm dead. Like, it's like, what the fuck? I'm not going to say it anymore. I've said it enough today. And in terms of just telling the story, I don't even like saying these words, you know, they don't feel good to me to say, and yet people are going willy-nilly with language. And your brain does not have a sense of humor. It doesn't. It takes everything you say fucking literally. So if you tell yourself over and over and over again, like, there's all these expressions that contain things like, oh, I died, I killed somebody, or it's so funny that it hurts. I don't know. All these kinds of silly ass expressions, they're taken literally by your brain. Just FY fucking I, you know? Like, you cannot go willy-nilly and just say dumb shit. So we have to be more thoughtful and more deliberate with our words, because our words, like, if we say a phrase enough times, even though like our vibe could be up here, it could still eventually kill our vibe. And then and then we'll wonder why. Why do I suddenly feel so shitty or tired or like a zombie? I don't know. What's changed? Maybe it's the language that informed your vibration, or your thoughts firstly, and then your vibration, and then your vibration informed your reality and your circumstances and your experience, right? So, yeah, words matter, your stories matter, because your words and your stories inform your thoughts, and your thoughts inform your vibration, and your vibration informs the reflection of the reality that you see in front of you. So we have to be deliberate. We have to have intention behind everything we think. Because like I said yesterday, there's nothing more dangerous than a wandering mind. It will lead you to places where you don't want to go. So decide where you want to go. And any contrasting situation that you have, right? A situation full of contrast, meaning something in front of you that isn't as you'd like it to be, ask yourself, what is it that I do want? What is it that I do want? What is it that I do want? That should be your focus. What you want, not what you don't want, not what isn't there yet. You know, you don't have to focus on the why, or sorry, the how of it. How will I get the thing that I... No, it doesn't fucking matter. Ask yourself, why do you want it? Focus on why you want it. That is a reason to wake up in the morning, right? Does that make sense? Let's see. Where the sun met the moon 24 says, I went to a physical therapist because my posture was not great. In 30 minutes consultation, he used the word dysfunction so much, I was like, man, how am I even alive? Never went back, found people who educated me on that without calling me dysfunctional or scaring me. Abso-fucking-lutely. Like, I don't like doctors that tell you that you're sick. Like, you know, like my doctor is a doctor that says the best medicine is no medicine. So, you know, he always tells me, Olena, you're in perfect health. That's literally any tests I take with him. He's like, oh, your iron's a little low, but otherwise you're in perfect health, you know? So he still tells me like, you need to take your iron, you know, more seriously, but otherwise you're in perfect health. He'll always drive that point home. It's like an affirmation, and I didn't realize this until literally right now as I'm talking to you, that his affirmation is, you're in perfect health. And so I come out of there with a fucking pep in my step being like, yeah, I'm superhuman healthy, right? And that's why I do, this is very important. Where the sun met the moon 24. Thank you for this fucking beautiful awareness, because you brought up such a good point. In the acne space even, this is why I couldn't find a solution for so long, because people were saying to me, to everyone, right? The message was, there's something wrong with you. You have acne because you're dirty. That's the old stupid myth. But being clean is like a fucking good thing. But, or you have acne because your hormones are fucked, or because, what else? That's usually hormones. People love blaming the phantom hormones, right? Nobody can prove it, but everyone's blaming the hormones. Anyway. But nobody's considering that by blaming the hormones, you're creating a hormonal imbalance, and then you're creating a self-fulfilling fucking prophecy, because you're a deliberate creator after all, right? So I love that. Thank you for sharing. Endless C says, this applies to everything in life. Words matter. If I wake up feeling cranky but make an effort to be positive, my entire day shifts and gets better. Exactly. The key there is the effort. The key there is the awareness, which leads to the effort, right? And you have the awareness that words matter. So you're not going to wake up and say, today's going to be a shitty day. What can I do to fuck up my day? Who can I call and be angry at? You know? No, like me, when I wake up, I try lately the thing that I've been, I mean, this kind of happens usually naturally, but on days when I'm a little off, what I practice is gratitude first thing in the morning. And so I like reach out and I spread myself wide on our huge king size bed, because we have like an extra large king because my husband is a giant and I'm so proud of it. Always wanted a giant husband. And of course I created a giant husband because like I'm a deliberate creator, right? Anyway, so I just sprawl out on our giant king bed and I go, wow, I slept so well. I love this bed. I'm so grateful for this beautiful night's rest. getting to sleep next to my dream man, right? So again, that starts the ball rolling in the direction of gratitude. And once you have one grateful thought, you'll find it really easy to attract another grateful thought. And from that other grateful thought, you'll find it even easier to attract another grateful thought. And then more reasons will show up in your experience for you to continue feeling grateful. That is literally the law of attraction working beautifully as it should, as it always does. The law of attraction never disappoints, right? And so, I love that you guys understand the importance of language, not using words just to fill the space, right? Because a lot of us, I find, like, there's certain friend groups or certain people that it's like they pull out the complaints out of me. Like I'm inspired to complain around these people more than with other people. With other people, like, and then some people, they inspire more self-deprecation than around other people. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I have to check myself and stop it, nip it in the bud, because self-deprecation is so disrespectful to yourself, right? Like being like, oh yeah, I'm so stupid as a joke. It's not a joke. Your body's listening. You cannot, even as a joke, you can't say things like that about yourself ever. And the funny thing is that once we become aware of these little just unintentional ways that we speak or express ourselves, then our perception of ourselves starts to shift. Once we stop calling ourselves stupid and ugly or unworthy or whatever the fuck, like once we stop focusing on what's wrong with us and actually look at ourselves with some fucking gratitude and acceptance, it's crazy. And then your confidence lifts, everything. Like the people that come into your awareness, they're nicer to you, like your friendships are better, like everything improves, you make more money, like happy people, I think, make more money than unhappy people, right? And live longer. Happy people live longer, obviously, than unhappy people. All of this stuff works that way. And yeah, so ask yourself, where am I focusing? Am I focusing on something that I dislike about myself? Because if you are, it doesn't serve you. And it's also distracting you from the bigger picture of who you really are. Like when we focus on our pores, I'm finding it so useless because, like, if I'm a deliberate creator, I have all this cool shit that I can be thinking about, thinking about my future plans and like the books I'm gonna write and, how I'll be a New York Times bestseller, best-selling author and all these things, right? So I'd rather be thinking about that than my fucking pores. It's just we get stuck in this smallness, right? Where we really start basically blinding ourselves to the bigger picture and start seeing ourselves as like this small, insignificant victim of circumstances. And it's like, no, you're not. You never were. You just thought you were. There's a difference, you see. All right, so there's that. And then I got a question in my DMs. Let me go to Facebook. It was something about alignment in families. Let me see. It's loading. One moment. There I am. There's the question. And if you guys have any questions here, please write them in the comments as well, because I will get to them. I always try to. Let's see. It's loading. I think it's because I'm in the office that, there we go. This person says, I've been struggling with staying in alignment while dealing with family issues like fighting, separation. Could you address this a little in the next pop talk, maybe? Love your advice. Thank you. And then I asked for clarification, and this person says, well, my older sibling keeps saying horrible things to my mother. I worry that my family will separate and fall apart. While focusing on myself and staying in alignment with my happiness, this is making it hard. Right. Definitely. I understand. So when we're in when the as is reality in front of us doesn't feel good, the tendency is to worry about what is, right? The tendency is to focus on what is instead of using your deliberate creator mind to focus on what you would like to be. right? So again, this is a perfect example of this contrast that I was talking about, right? This is the perfect context in which you ask yourself, what is it that I really do want? So even though your family might be fighting, there might be some disrespect, amongst parties of your family, people, whatever, parties, parties. But for you, it's not about them. It's never about anything outside of you. It's never about anyone outside of you. So the context, the situation, the circumstances that are only an opportunity for you to ask yourself, what is it that I really do want? Right? And as you ask yourself, what is it that I really do want? That shifts your focus from the problem to the solution. It's that simple in terms of alignment, right? So if you want circumstances outside of you to change first in order for you to feel aligned, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. The contrast exists for a reason, and the reason is for you to get clear on what you want and to focus on it. And the more you practice shifting your focus from what is to what you want, magic happens then, right? So the best thing that I can offer in this the best, I guess, solution I can offer to this question is to focus on yourself, like you know to already, and to get clear on what you want. Ask yourself, what is it that you really do want? And to understand that it's not your job to fix other people because they aren't broken. And this might, again, be a hard pill to swallow for some people, which is a stupid fucking affirmation that I keep saying, and I'm going to stop. You are bright enough to understand what I'm saying. And, here on these Pop Talks, we like to talk about truths with a capital T, right? Things that are actually true, not subjectively true, right? So the thing is, none of us are broken. None of us have anything wrong with us, actually. But we pretend like there are because we have forgotten who we really are. And who we really are, once again, is much bigger than just this physical being that we're just experiencing life through, right? So when we forget who we really are, we pretend like we're somebody that we're not. And we pretend that we're broken, we're wounded, we pretend like we have an illness, we pretend like we're hurt, we pretend like we're angry, we pretend like we're depressed. We pretend. And the job of a miracle worker is to see the truth with a capital T, that no one is actually broken, right? There's nothing to fix with anybody. And when we start to look at people, not with what's wrong with them, but through the eyes of love and seeing their innocence, and seeing that they too are deliberate creators who have simply forgotten that they're deliberate creators, then we have far more compassion for them, far less judgment, right? And then we feel more love towards them too. And when we do, we raise the collective consciousness, the collective vibration. So by even one person being in alignment, you change everybody's point of attraction for just better, right? So every one of us is important, right? And every single one of our points of attraction is also important. And we have to constantly tend to our own vibration. That's the only vibration that we can tend to. And it is the only thing that we have control over, right? We don't have control over other people's behaviors. And again, the best way to impact another's behavior is through being in alignment and being loving, not judgmental, right? And often in these conflict situations, people get They take things personally. They start pointing fingers, blame, shame, guilt, right? There's all those beautiful ways of manipulating each other. But when you see past all that and you just see everyone as pretending and you see their true selves, it's a game changer. So I invite all of us to see past each other's bullshit, okay? Because it's just so freeing as well. So instead of me being like, he treated me like this, and it's like, no, I know he's just pretending. He didn't mean to treat me like this, blah, 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 you know? And just to be cooler, not to point out everyone's mistakes and all this stuff, because especially in families, that's what families do, is they point out each other's mistakes, right? Under the guise of, I just want you to be better. I just want you to live up to your full potential. You're just better than this. You're better than this. But by you pointing that out, you're basically saying you're not good enough. I expect you to behave differently, you know, and you're sending the wrong message and you're not actually creating change, the change you seek. And was it Martin Luther King or was it Gandhi? I think it was Gandhi that said, be the change you wish to see, right? And there is nothing more, I think, on the nose than that, right? So if we want to see change around us, we have to be the change. And that just means getting into alignment and feeling good, because that is the most natural thing ever, right? And so the reason why we get caught up in these dramas is because we forget what they actually mean. And what they actually mean is that they're opportunities for us to get clear on what we want and to focus on what we want and not focus on what is or what we don't want. Okay? That's all that it means. But we think, oh my God, my family's fighting. Oh, it means this, it means that. My family might fall apart, blah, blah, blah. Worry, worry, worry. It's like, where will that worry get you? Fucking nowhere. Never. Worry never got anyone any place good. Okay? And me, I come from a really long history of worrying, okay, and anxiety and all this shit, right? I spent a lot of time in my own head, okay? And now I've learned to spend time in my head in a way that serves me most of the time, obviously, right? So I hope this made sense, what I was talking about here. And I hope I answered this person's question. I never know if I answer your questions the way you expect me to, but I don't think it matters. As in, it's a good attempt. Because I think that we get caught up in like the outside circumstances too easily. And that's how we get distracted from what really matters. And what really matters is our connection with ourselves. You know, the ultimate alignment between you and you. That's the only thing that matters, right? So when we are like, oh, but why is this happening outside of me? Or I'm worried that this will happen outside of me. Or, you know, that person outside of me is not behaving the way I want them to behave. And I can't, you know, be at peace until they do, until they change, until I have a resolution, until. And it's like, and if you think like that, if you wait for a condition outside of you to be met for you to be happy, then you will wait forever. The freedom in alignment is that you get to decide how you feel at any moment of any day, right? And I think that's so powerful and so amazing, and it's changed my life so much. My relationships with everyone as well. Hi, Bethy Ann. Bethy Ann 404 says, best way to start my morning is watching an Olena Pop Talk. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot, Bethy Ann. That's very sweet. Aw. All right, my darlings, let's meditate. But wait, I think this Pop Talk is about to end because I've been talking for roughly an hour now. So I think it makes sense for me to start a new video where we're going to meditate for 15 minutes. Okay, let's do 12 today because I need to get out. So yeah, get into a comfortable position where we're going to meditate, because meditation is so important. It is a way for us to let go of those resistant thoughts that keep our vibrations down, right? We can let go of those thoughts so that we can basically reset our vibrational essence, so we can be back to vibing high, feeling good, so that everything else in our lives can start feeling easy again, because that's the natural way of things. Easy, flowy, sparkly. Okay? So at the end of the meditation, we will hear this sound, and that will take us out of the meditation. And then we're going to, oh, by the way, fuck. Okay, so I'm going to end this video, start another one. So I'll see you in a moment where we're going to meditate, okay? This was Olena of popthepimple.com. And if you need any help with skin stuff, always go to popthepimple.com. The link is in my bio or in the description or whatever, wherever. Just find the link to popthepimple.com. See you in a sec. I'm back. It's Olena of popthepimple.com for part... I've been talking a lot. For part 2 of our live pop talk. And in this part, we're actually going to meditate, because earlier we were talking about gratitude and some spiritual principles and staying in alignment. And right now it's important that we actually meditate, right? This is a practice that keeps us healthy in the mind and in the body. And it's the best way to stay present and grateful in the present moment, right? So, oh, I see you guys joining. Fantastic. So we're going to meditate now, but I just wanted to point out that the days are getting longer, and it's my favorite time of the year because, you know, we have so much sunshine from really early in the day to really late at night. Like, it's still bright out at, I think, 9 p.m. nowadays, and it's so good. I think that's another thing that makes me happy, or at least it's another thing that I focus on as when I'm in alignment. You know, when you're in alignment, you focus on things that you're grateful for and that you love and appreciate. And then there's more things that you find in your awareness that you love and appreciate. And then more and more and more and more and more things come in. And so even the weather today is fucking phenomenal. So I can't wait to go hang out in Paris. Yeah. Might get some new sunglasses. I don't know. We'll see if I like something, because there were a few that I was eyeing. And I haven't gotten a new pair of sunglasses in a while. And earlier today, I got a new necklace. I can't wait to show it to you guys. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so fucking pretty. It's in the mail. I can't wait. But it's a customized thing, so it'll take like 2 weeks or something. So I'm really, really excited for that as well. Anyway, I'm just like, there's so many things. Oh, and the podcast. Yesterday, my husband, he basically completed all the things. And we already have 3 podcast episodes ready to go. This one might be a 4th, I don't know. And the only thing that's left is basically the podcast art, right? The actual cover image. So when I have time, I will show you guys on my Instagram stories a couple of versions so that you can vote, because I've kind of tinkered with the ones that you gave me feedback on. And yeah, we're trying to make a really beautiful podcast cover image so that you guys are, you know, excited. And it's all beautiful. Anyway, because I'm excited. I never thought I'd have a podcast, you know, and my husband, he's just such a perfect partner, because he's a sound engineer, but he can edit my videos. Like, he's just so helpful, and he actually loves doing this stuff. He loves taking photos of me, and he loves editing them. And I'm like, are you like Dream Man or what? And actually, it was kind of on my secret list. It was like, you know, like a bonus list when I was basically imagining my dream man. Well, on my bonus list, like the one where I'm like even if he doesn't have these qualities, I'll still love the fuck out of him, right? But a quality I wanted was a good eye for composition, you know, for taking photos, and being able to know when color combinations suck in terms of post editing, post production. When you edit photos, right? Like, you can choose the most terrible color combinations and shit, and then they look terrible. Like, the edits are so gross sometimes, right? You know what I'm talking about. Like back in the day with the original Instagram filters, like if you scroll down long enough on my Instagram, you'll see like how we used to edit photos, because I kept mine because I have like a history of my life, you know, when I lived in Ukraine and all this cool stuff. So when I went to Asia with the terrible edits, but still I have all these cool photos and cool experiences in Asia. So yeah, I kept the old photos. But the point is, I wanted somebody who had a good eye for composition, color theory, who could edit photos really well. And a bonus was he kind of had a good taste in music as well, and a similar taste to mine, ideally, at least in some way. And he has all the things. My husband has all the qualities that I had on it, like the qualities I wanted in my wish list, even my bonus wish list. He has all the qualities. He's beyond perfect. Like, it's amazing. But it's also quite normal because I'm a deliberate creator, and whatever I want, I get to have, right? So if I want this amazing partner, I'm going to have this amazing partner. If I want this amazing life, I'm going to have this amazing life. If I want all the abundance, I'm going to have all the abundance. If I want the clear skin, I'm going to have the clear skin. That's just how it gets to fucking work, right? What's complicated about that? But what is we complicated, right? What is complicated about that? To answer that question, because though it sounded like a rhetorical one, we do complicate our own lives. We block the ease and the wishes and the desires from coming true by simply believing things like we're not worthy of the things, it's unavailable to us. By simply not believing in our dreams, we don't get to actually experience our dreams. It's that simple, right? If we have certain expectations, like things are going to not work out for me, that's the expectation, then things are not going to work out for me. But if my expectation is everything happens for me, and people are always anticipating my needs, people love hanging out with me, like people appreciate me, adore me, respect me, you know, they're so thoughtful and everyone's good, and I don't know, what else? My life gets to be easy, loving, sparkly, fabulous, fun, right? Like if those are my expectations, then that's what I get. And so those are my expectations, though. My life gets to be all those awesome things, right? Anyway, let's meditate because I can keep talking. You know I can keep talking. But if you guys have any questions for tomorrow, then you can DM me and just let me know for tomorrow's Pop Talk. Can you discuss and I can answer your questions, because there was another one that came in, but it came in too late and I forgot to send it over to myself. So there's always questions coming in and I add them, like I just screenshot them and send them to myself on Facebook so that then I can discuss them, because I can't access them as I'm here on this live on the phone, right? All right, so you're in a comfortable position. We are meditating for 12 minutes. 3, 2, remember this. Just breathe. Don't try to still your mind. Don't try to not think, because it's impossible. So don't set yourself up for failure by aiming to do something that your mind simply cannot do, right? So in the beginning, it's important just to focus your awareness on your breath, in and out breath, in and out breath. And that will ground you in the present moment, which is where all the power lies. Your personal power is in the present moment. It's not in the future, because the future doesn't exist. It's not in the past, because the past also no longer exists. It's so awesome. It only exists in your memory, in your mind. It doesn't actually exist anymore. And then if we talk about, this is a complex topic. It's a complex topic. Let me not open this can of worms, because then I could just literally contradict what I just said. Okay. 3, 2, 1. How is that for you? Because for me, oh my god, it was so good. A voice came and said something. Writing it down, writing it down. Where's my pen? Where's my pen? Of course, I don't have a pen. That's a terrible affirmation that I don't have a pen. Writing it down. That was amazing. I felt so good. Oh, so refreshed. Oh, so good. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me for today's lovely meditation. I mean, Pop Talk, see, I'm like out of it. Today was extra good. And I'll see you tomorrow on Monday, because I don't do Pop Talks usually. Usually I don't do Pop Talks on the weekend. So we'll see how I feel tomorrow or after tomorrow. If anything cool comes through, then we'll discuss it. But if not, Monday. Okay? Have a beautiful weekend and stay tuned for Instagram updates of stuff, because I might need your help choosing some sunglasses later, okay? Have a beautiful day. This is Olena of popthepimple.com. Bye!